Alright, so I've got here this is a PLX digital gauge along with their wideband air fuel. We're gonna open this up here, and most of you are probably like, why not just put a wideband directly in? I only have a singular O2 bung on the Goblin, and I don't have the experience to weld it. I don't want to take it anywhere to weld it, so this guy's a little bit special, and I will show you why, or talk about it as I open it here. So let's get our gauge open, just so we can get a look at it. Nice little gauge here. It's digital, and then it has like a ring of lights around the outside as a kind of display. Pretty sure that's all that comes in here. It looks like it just connects to the power on the computer here. Without instructions. And then the real magic comes with the computer box of this PLX wideband system. So since we only have one bung on the Goblin, I don't have a knife here, do I? We only have one O2 bung, and the Cobalt ECU is staying in the Goblin, so we need to keep the narrowband signal going to the computer so that it's happy. And what this kit does, let's see if I can find it on the box, is it can, I saw it a second here. Oh, here we go. So what this box can do, or what the computer can do, is it can take the whole wideband signal. Like, see, there's a bit of a glare there from the lights. So it could take the normal wideband signal, and then the computer can simulate a normal analog narrowband signal to send to the ECU of the Cobalt. I couldn't find many great reviews on it, or not many reviews at all, but there was a YouTube channel that I'm following along with to learn how to tune, and they recommended using this because it was very easy to use. Luckily this computer is smaller than I thought it would be, so that shouldn't be too hard to hide somewhere. And then it comes with instructions, of course. We've got a brand new wideband O2 sensor, which has its own plug and play harness, it looks like. Yeah, that all just goes directly to the computer. You don't need to wire anything. That's awesome. And then we've got, looks like power, which will need to be soldered into the car. And then they also have, with the PLX system, you could use this gauge as a multi-gauge for lots of different things if you get a couple different computers to set up with it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read through the instructions quick, and then we're going to jump in the garage and start installing it. It is about 5:30 in the morning right now, because I normally work night shift, so hoping to get this done by a certain time, like maybe 9 a.m. to be able to start the car without annoying anybody else. Girlfriend wouldn't be happy if I woke her up to the car starting. So I'm going to get started on this, and I'll probably just time-lapse most of it, and then we'll talk about how it works. Alrighty, so getting over to our Goblin here, we've got to take out our old narrowband sensor, which just has a plug right here, which we won't need anymore. This hasn't been typed because I knew I was going to be replacing it anyway. So we're going to take out our old guy. We're going to grab our brand new wideband sensor from PLX, put it in there, and torque it to 30 foot-pounds is what the instructions say. Then we're going to take our PLX computer, figure out where we want to mount it. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it all the way up here next to our BCM, and it would have been nice if they had like holes like for screws or bolts or something on it, but they don't, so I guess I'm just going to have to Velcro it on up here. So I'll probably Velcro it right over here. This is usually where the tire pressure sensor would go on the Goblin. but I don't have one. I cut that out and I disabled it in the Tech 2, so we're probably gonna put it right over here and run all of our wiring. So I'm gonna get to that. I'm probably just gonna jump to put in our PLX sensor in. So let's get to that. It's almost like the length of this wire was made for this Goblin. Look at that. Got perfect amount, it's nice and tucked in the top. I will recommend to, let's get this down. I would recommend to anyone else that is building a Goblin to run wires and extra sensors and stuff that you want before you finish the wiring harness. So this is our O2 sensor. It literally just plugs into the computer. I found this, it's called coated tissue tape. I found it in my toolbox. Seems to work. I'll just get our computer bunged right up on there with the sticky tape. I don't know if I want to place it down, or I should probably face it up so that if there's any problems I could come over and check the wiring. So I'm going to do that later once I have all the wires figured out. But looking like it's going to be a nice clean install. Alrighty, so this is all very, very temporary, but I've got the gauge connected. I can't start the car yet. It's only like 7 o'clock in the morning, but I'm gonna turn the key. We're gonna see if our gauge here turns on. We have our PLX computer box plugged in. It's got all the sensors wired up. It's got the narrowband plumbed in. I do have to do a couple more things. I have to run a resistor between the heaters wires so that the computer doesn't freak out that there's nothing getting heated. But everything's run. The only thing that's dirty right now are these power wires. I found my pink wire here, which is C3D7 on our BCM. That went to the old airbags and restraint system, which nowhere to put airbags in this thing. So this is a key on ignition 1 voltage that I found for the computer, and let's get to it. So let's hold this here. I'm gonna go ahead and run the car. So we're gonna hear the fuel pump start, and hopefully our gauge is gonna start up. Oh, I see lights. Let's see this thing. There we go. Our multi-gauge is up. Now, I'm not sure if I have to do any kind of calibration. I know that 14.7 is stoic, so we are going to have to check it. Oh, now it's going nuts because there's no fuel. So it finally figured it out. There we go. So it works out. This thing is also a touch screen, so I could change stuff on it. That's pretty cool, and I like the lights around it. Next thing's... Oh, there goes my light on top of my camera. That doesn't stay on very long. Next thing up, we're going to run our wires a little bit better, and we are going to start the car to see if it reads correctly, but I have to wait a couple hours for that, so I'll be back in just a minute.